Shall we begin? Shall we rise for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. As usual, if you would, if you have a cell phone, please silence it. First order on the agenda are the minutes. I think we'll begin with the special session on June 24th at the high school auditorium dealing with the windmill ordinance. Do you have a copy of said minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to accept the minutes of the special session June 24th. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Next are the minutes from the last meeting. Nope, wrong ones. Okay.
I make a motion to accept them.
Okay. Motion and second.
Second.
To accept the minutes of the last meeting. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Department head reports. Mr. Gray.
Morning.
Good morning.
Just got back off vacation, trying to play catch up. Mowed and raked all day yesterday. So I'm trying to get the yard straightened back up. And, I'm waiting on Ted to get back with me on numbers. I called him again this morning on the air handlers at the jail. Still waiting on numbers. What they done was they put York equipment on the blueprints, but they're actually McCoy equipment, so they're having trouble getting numbers to apples on what we've got in there. So
Did he give you a ballpark?
he didn't even give me a ballpark. So trying to get a hold of him. I'll get a hold of him sometime today, and I'll let you know
Okay.
what I find out. Other than that, it's just catch up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Havlin. Jeez.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
We've been busy mowing, trimming trees, trying to get some gravel on some of the roads. They're a mess with all this rain. You can't hardly get out and maintain them. Yesterday we maintained, it's down in the southern end. But we will get to them as it dries enough we can do them. Because we do them right now, it just turns them into a mud hole. They've got the work done around the building. We got all the gravel hauled into it, and he got all the tiles in and all that stuff. So we're done with that, I'm pretty sure. I think he's still got some equipment down there, but I think he went on vacation, so he just hadn't hauled it all the way yet. So we'll get that done. And let's see what else. We probably, if the weather will let us, about Thursday we'll start chip sealing.
Okay.
If it'll dry up enough, we can do it. That's the if about it, because we can't very well put it down if it's going to rain.
Right.
Because it's water based and it'll just wash it off the road.
I think there's a chance for rain all week,
Yeah.
but I don't know what the percentages are.
I'm gonna keep watching the weather, and then I'll order it the day before.
Okay.
That's the only way I can do it, because I can cancel it that morning if I catch it before they leave up there.
Well, the rain's put everything behind. So,
Yeah, state's behind. I know they was planning on doing some down on 52, and they postponed theirs till Thursday, hoping the weather will let them do it. But what else you can do? You gotta wait on it to clear up.
Yes, sir.
I've got this report that I think Leota asked me about it on an oil tank, what the difference was. I can show you. I wrote it on the bottom, bring our systems down again down there. I had all this other stuff down. There's not. As you can see, it's about $6,900 a year what we spend going over and getting it in hours and fuel. And with the price of a tank, I mean, a tank would be nice, because if you had oil that you couldn't use when you're chip sealing, you can put it in a tank and save it. But I can't justify the price of a tank right now with the way everything's going.
You're looking about, what, 52,000?
About 52,000 time they set it up and build it. They got to build a dike around it and all that stuff, and it's got to be set up just right. I mean, it'd be nice, but that's just $6,900 a year. We use the fuel going over to get it.
Okay. I felt like it was something we needed to check into and see if it was,
Yeah.
save us money.
It would be a plus in the long run, because a lot of times we go over there and they don't have it. And if we don't remember to call them before we head over, I usually just send the guys over, they'll have to come back. And that's just wasting time. Because they will take the oil they have when they put it in their tank, and they'll use a chip seal a lot of times. So you don't never know when it's gonna be empty. And with our phones have been down, they haven't been able to call us to let us know it's been empty. So, I
I rather agree with Mr. Havlin that perhaps we should wait, but that's, do the other two of you agree? It's about
Well-
52,000 right now. I don't know where we would take that from. And it would be a great convenience, but you're talking about, if we wait a year, it'd take about 7 years to, 7.5 years to actually, of what we're paying for the travel time to pay that off, to make up the difference. If we wait another year until we have sufficient monies, that might be better, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I felt it was something we needed to check into, and I wanted Jay to get us numbers to make sure that we weren't doing the wrong thing, and that we could decide whether to make that decision or not.
So do we want to wait?
Yes,
okay,
the funds are not available right now, so.
I have something, I only have one copy of this, but I'll give it to you. We were getting ready to, looking at running our airlines in the new building, because that's something we'll have to do. And the one contractor did all the plumbing, he gave me a quote on it, because he's still got his equipment there, and which is not a bad quote. The top one's for the cast iron lines, black pipe, and the bottom one's for aluminum. The top one's actually the cheapest.
Which one's the best? The better?
Probably cast iron, probably the best as far as lasting longer.
Okay.
It'll hold the pressure better at 200 pounds.
Better than the aluminum?
Yeah. And I've got the money in the budget, I can move around and do that, to go ahead and pay him for that. He can just get it in and have it done in a couple of days, what'll take us a week to get done, and working on everything else.
Do you need a motion to approve?
If he's just gonna move the monies around in his budget, he doesn't need a motion from us, does he?
No, he can do that without commissioner's approval unless it needs to come from a different
I'm
appropriation
transferring,
line.
same line item.
Same line
Yeah,
item?
so it's no big
Then
thing.
the
Okay.
department head can do that.
Okay, we'll leave it up to you which one to choose, but I'll go along with your recommendation for the cheaper, which is the black steel,
yeah,
which is the
black
better.
pipe, yeah.
Black pipe.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay.
And that's all I have.
Hey, quick question. I know we're behind on the rain with chip sealing and stuff. Have we gotten anywhere with Man Love?
I need to go up there and, when they have their next meeting, talk to them about it. Make sure they're aware of what we're gonna do, because they'll have to sweep the roads and get them ready before
You
we
want
go
me to
up
go
there
with
and
you
do it.
when you go up there?
Hmm?
Do you want me to go with you when you go to that meeting?
Yeah, I just gotta figure out when their next meeting is. I'm not sure when it is.
Okay.
But I'll probably save that for, on the tail end of doing, because I know this is vacation time, there'll be a lot of people up there.
Right.
But it won't be, it'll just be a slow process doing it, because you can't haul a truck around in there. You have to load it and then back out away from it, then do it, and then back up and load it again, because it's too narrow, and too many trees, and too many wires. That's all I have.
Thank you, we appreciate the job you're doing too.
Thanks, Jay.
Surveyor, Mr. Sudoff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Munson Excavating moved into structure 15 in Waterloo there by McGraw's and Squires for that culvert. So they started last week.
The project was delayed last year, correct?
Yeah, we had the materials from 2013 at the highway garage, and we tried to start the project last year, and the weather got there, and everything delayed it until this year. So now they're moving in, and the pipes all together, they put together last year in the barn lot, and then they moved it out on site now. So they've mobilized, and they dug everything out, and it's been wet, let's say the least. So They've excavated a lot of dirt over there. So they've started on that project. It's a long time coming. I have 2 contracts here for your signature approval. One is for Bridge 43 that we took the bids for, and I've got the documents here for signature of the contract.
Okay.
I think I set a set to the attorney.
I reviewed both contracts, but the one for Bridge 43, need my approval. I recommend you guys approve it, get it started.
Okay, there's 2 sets. See where it says sign there. I think it only needs 1 signature that I could find.
Okay.
And
We'll look at this first and then give me a motion.
I've set up a pre-construction meeting with the contractor for next Tuesday on site. And we'll look at see what the utilities have done and then look at the site. So it's got the bonds and for construction and then the insurance. It's about 60 days when we get the notice to proceed and from the effective date. So it'll probably be closed about then, unless the weather cooperates. They get on it, you never know.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve
Signing the contract?
signing the contract for Bridge
there a
number
second?
43.
Second.
Motion and second to approve signing the contract for bridge number 43. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
There's an attest on the bottom. I assume that's for the auditor. So
Right
give
here.
that.
Right here.
Yeah.
And you need on both of them?
Yeah, one's for them and one's for our copy.
She get one of these?
Both of them,
Okay.
she has signed both of them, and then I'll send one of them to the contractor.
I'll do this to you after the meeting.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I have another contract. This is for the lease of the surveying equipment with the bank, and it's in California. And I think I've given a copy to Chris for him to look at.
Yes, the auditor sent me a copy a couple weeks ago, and I reviewed it, and I see nothing. It's a standard lease agreement. I would recommend its approval as long as the commissioners see fit.
And this is for your new GPS equipment?
Yeah, it's for the 3-year lease, $393 a month. And then the original price was $13,000, almost $500 for a 3-year lease.
And you're taking at least part of that out of your Corners perpetuation fund, correct?
Yeah, all of it is.
All of it, okay.
I've been approved for this year, and I've put $5,000 in for next year's budget.
Okay.
And then it'll be another year out of that fund, and then partial for the next year for 3 years.
Do we need to make another motion? We've
Yes.
already approved this, haven't
Have we already?
It's
We already approved it. Have we actually
I
approved the
think
contract?
we
The
approved it
contract's
on-
here for signature, the original.
I think we approved it on
Two
his.
meetings ago?
On his,
It was already approved by the commissioners. This is just a contract
Okay,
signing.
we'll get this signed after the meeting. Give us-
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ellis, rise and shine.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just wanted to bring you up to date on a few things. I spoke with the state yesterday about the money to pay for Everbridge.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't put that in the budget. They were doing it yesterday, so we should be able to get reimbursed here pretty soon.
Okay.
Had a meeting with the state mental health people and the team that I am a leader of. They're raising their game. It's going to be degree personnel only, and fortunately I have one. But the state is raising its game on across the board on everything. I'm sure you ask any EMT, they'll tell you they're making everybody jump through hoops right now, and it's no different from my office. They're just adding and adding, so been pretty busy with that, trying to get caught up. There's a program, RTIPP, that's mandatory for me. The money that I bring in is performance-based. I have to do something to get that for the county. The RITP program is readiness, training, identification, preparedness, and planning, and basically we're going through classes right now. Texas A&M is teaching those classes. It's mandatory for all 92 directors to go through that. Then I have to develop new plans to go along with that. It's the ever-changing scope of hazard mitigation in the country and terrorism and all, so that's another reality. We've had 2 classes, we have more to go. Update on the radio station, that has been a massive job in the last 2 months. We did receive 2 important things. The radio station now has a call sign, it's WEJK, and it will be on 100.7. Equipment is coming in now, and we've got to sit down sometime and talk about the building on the hill because the antenna is critical and I've got to make some fast moves on that. The next 2 and last 2 parts go together. I'm requested by the state, we've got to do an exercise. So I'd like to have 1 commissioner assigned to start doing the planning. We need to do an exercise for the entire courthouse. And I'd like to have 1 sit down and start going through that process.
Commissioner Dore will be our representative.
Glad to have him. He's versed in the field of response, so that'll be perfect. It's 2 things. 1 is the planning and preparedness, and something we've been working on that's now a reality. These will be mounted in the courthouse. We now have our AEDs, automatic defibrillators. 2 of these will be mounted. The auto defibrillators are in there. I would like to take each department through training. I have a simulator that can be used to train people. So we can take each one through that, and then every office will be aware. We can hang it outside with minimal instructions. It's not like the old days where you've got a medical background. This is just listen to the instructions and go. So that's the reality, and that will coincide with an exercise. I want that to be part of it, that someone will physically use the trainer. The trainer looks just like the real thing, but of course, you don't want it. So basically that's it. Just kind of get you caught up.
I want to thank you for getting those for us. If anybody's ever been to the Rush County Courthouse or any other courthouses, they have 3 floors, and they have 1 on every floor. And God forbid we ever have to use it, but if we do, it's there and we can train our people. The life that's saved may be someone you know or care about. So I think it's important, just for human reasons, just for compassionate reasons, to have one of those. So thank you. I'll leave it up to you to schedule with the department heads where they're training. You can tell them that the commissioners approve of this and would request their cooperation.
Okay.
Okay?
And my next move will continue to try to get more and make sure that all facilities, on campus right here and like the highway and such, get one in each department, in each building.
Will you be in your office Monday?
Yes, sir.
How about if I sit down with you sometime Monday?
That'll work. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrian.
You're very welcome.
County Attorney, Mr. Appel?
Besides those 2 contracts that Mr. Sudoff already talked about, I didn't have anything else that I needed to present to you guys today, unless anyone had a question that needed to be directed towards me.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's for good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Community Corrections, Michelle Ledley.
I brought the intent to award letter. I was notified this past week that we did get $219,785.50 in the TANF grant, and I believe there's another $20,000 on that for parole services. So they did get the letters out on July 1st. However, we're still waiting on the actual contract to be mailed that will need to be signed by one authorized signature on it. The other things that I gave you in relation to the TANF grant, I'm trying to get people lined up because there's going to be like 10 different programs through that grant, and there are 3 applications there that I'd like approval on. 2 of them I've marked TANF on the top. Those would strictly be TANF. And I know you're going to be familiar with the company.
I'm actually pleased to see that one. Very
good.
One.
Those 2 will be doing some addictions training and some parenting programs and stuff, both at the jail and for me. And Joey has approved those people. Actually, he's the one that suggested them. So I think that's going to work great for all of us. And I think that the recipients will respond better to them teaching than they would if Joey or I taught it.
It's right to, do you want the names?
That's fine.
And the names will be Joseph Oliver, William Harrison, and Danny Floyd.
Mr. Oliver will be at Community Correction and probably some TANF programming also. I'm going to meet with him later today. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I believe he just graduated this year. I know Joe, and he's a good kid.
You need a motion to approve these, please?
Motion to approve. Oh, sorry.
We're not going to fight over this. I make a motion to approve these applicants that Michelle has given us.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the applicants presented by Ms. Dudley. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other paper that you have is an email from the Department of Corrections. We were once again one of the top performing counties in the state, and we will be receiving a performance bonus sometime later this year for that. The only other thing that I have is Reedman Motors called or text me the truck's in, so I'm going to go pick it up later today. I'll get with you on the paperwork, whatever we have to do on the new vehicle. And also the parking lot behind the jail, those trees are so overgrown that you can't even walk under them. You can't drive through there. I was wondering if it was okay if I have the work crew. I have an old-fashioned like pruner at home. It's like 12 foot long, and they can stand there. If I have the work crew trim those trees, limbs down, and get them off the vehicles. And,
That's fine.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, and good job. Now it's Michael. Mr. King.
Morning.
Good morning.
I put the quotes for CEI in your boxes last night for the phone, wiring and phones at the highway garage. I'd spoken to you previously about that. I want to get approval for the quote to move the phone system and the radio, including the wiring done over at the highway garage. Like with Jay talking about the piping they've got to do over there, we could do it, but with everything else that has to be done as well in the courthouse, it would be a week or so before we would get finished, and they can finish this in a day or two. Quote for the wiring and the phone system is $2,589.76. I believe I think there was money left in the highway garage fund. I'll have to double check.
That would be a question of that.
From the building fund, you mean?
I think so.
There is some contingency left over after the last letter from the contractor. We're looking at probably in the teens as far as
Okay.
$14,000 to $15,000.
And then one thing I didn't take into account last month when I got the original quote was the radios. That quote is $1,337.53 to move the radio equipment. If there's not money in the contingency fund for that, Jay said he has money in the radio fund that we could, dip into if we need to.
Okay.
So, and I have no knowledge with radios, so I wouldn't know if they were working right or not if I moved them.
Well, if you push the button and talk and they don't talk back, there's something wrong.
Yeah, but how to fix it once there was something wrong, I would have no clue.
Sometimes when they talk back, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Other than getting those approved, I really don't have anything else for you at the moment.
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion we approve these.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve these quotes from CEI, one for $1,337.53, the other for $316.23, and the other one for $2,589.76. Is there a question? All those in favor by signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
I'll let them know. Any questions for me?
I'm sorry,
Any questions for me?
Jay?
What are they gonna do to cameras?
Cameras, I was gonna get a re-quote because I think we're gonna need more than we originally had quoted. Because we originally only talked about 4 out there, and I think we're gonna need more. So,
Would that come out of the garage fund, what's left over?
yeah, if there's money left over, if not, we can look for it for somewhere else. But I figured it was more important to get them in the building and working than worrying about the security system quite yet. So,
How many hours did you say you worked on Friday for your day off?
5.5.
Thank you.
Yes. I know
Appreciate you
do.
coming in
That's not.
emergency.
I know it's not the only time you do that too, so we do appreciate that. Ms. Bennett?
Is this on the mail?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
We're just kind of relaxed
Two different
today.
things. Three.
I've got a copy, I think.
I got some more stuff for good. But the staples are stuck together.
I'll first go to the applications that I just gave Leota. The last couple of months, we've ran into a lot of overtime. And a lot of it is due to the 28 hours that the part-timers can use, so I need to hire a few people. We conducted some interviews. I've got those 3 that I would like to hire. 2 are actually police officers. One of them is a Milton police officer, the other one is a Connersville police officer, and the other one has no law enforcement experience, but one of the supervisors highly recommended her, and we interviewed her, and I think she'll be fine. But I would like to hire 3 because those with the law enforcement background is going to be an asset to dispatch for obvious reasons. Both of them were scared over medical 911 calls, but they'll get training on it. But the things that they bring to the table, due to the, they have their full-time jobs, I would like to hire a 3rd. So I'm going to have to get creative with their trainings because with all 3 of them, they all have full-time jobs and they're all different shifts. So, plus our task
So they're
force.
part-time?
Yes, these would be part-time only, yeah.
Well, I worked with Kevin Perry. I can tell you he's an excellent choice.
I think that I may come and ask for a seatbelt for the chair to keep him in one spot.
Good luck.
But they all know the streets in Connersville. I mean, that's the little things like that you take for granted that are huge.
I see the credentials for the one gentleman, which is probably half an inch thick. I think you've made some good choices.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendations? The applications?
Make a motion, we approve these applications that Terry has recommended to us.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the applications presented by Terry Bennett. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
We have been reviewing possible alternative solutions to our Spillman upgrade. And I believe I put all 3 of you in the note in the email for that. We'll be doing that demo Monday in here. It's going to be an all-day affair, so maybe if you come in, you'll see the time slots. Maybe you just want to come in at the beginning. Joey's probably going to hate me. That's why I'm not going to turn around because he's going to be stuck in here for like 6 hours. And
As long as he's got food, you'll be okay.
there is going to be food provided, so, so we are looking at an alternative. Again, this is not saying that it's going to, replace, and I also talked to the city secretary, and she's going to arrange for Spillman to come down and speak to us as well as far as what the upgrade's going to be. Mike's been a big help with all of this as well, and together as a team, we're going to be able to come up with something, whether we need to stay with what we have or whatever, so,
Where's this going to be held?
here in this room.
Okay. I spoke with some of the council members the other day, and I haven't had a chance to, I don't think, to bring the 2 of you up to date. Spillman's requesting their upgrade, it's scheduled for November, and it's going to cost the county, including 911, almost, it's $39,000 and some change. I am all for postponing that at least until next year. Maybe at budget hearings, we can bring this up so it can be budgeted. Or if you have an alternative in the meantime that can be presented, then we can present that. But right now, trying to take $40,000 out of the unanticipated out of the county's budget toward the end of the year, I don't think that's really appropriate. They need to be a little more proactive in notifying us the who, what, when, where, and how.
Well, and as a department, I know Joey and I discussed it too. We've had Spillman for a long time. Change is scary sometimes, but sometimes it's we need to at least shop and see if there is a better solution. And like I said, I've sat down with probably 10 different CADs, and this one I think will fit everybody's needs. So we'll just, I'm like you, it needs to be postponed. And the upgrade is going to be, I believe she said, and Mike, you might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're currently like on a 4.2 and we're going up to like a 6.4. So I mean, that's a huge jump for an upgrade. So, so we talked yesterday, and she's going to try to schedule something for them to come down and show us what exactly this upgrade is going to be. So,
Okay.
but just wanted to make you aware of that will be going on Monday. Thanks Gertrude for letting us have the room. But it'll, we'll just go from there and shop and see, so. And then that's
Okay.
all I have other than,
You wanted to explain a letter?
yeah, I can.
Why don't we go ahead and do that?
Okay. I gave you guys copies of the letter that we had received from the statewide, from the state 911 board. And if you read that, I hate how it's worded because it makes us sound so terrible. This year was the first year that I've ever had to do this. The State Board of Accounts will audit our fund, and the state board will audit our fund as well. Usually there's discrepancies such as IDACs, things that they don't see that fit into the 911 funds that we can use the 911 money for. A couple of years ago, actually I think it was last year, we used to have two separate funds, one that had our wireless money in it, the state money, and then one of our city's contributions that were in there, because that's how we're funded. They were to be put into a 1222 fund. That's basically the only information that I was given, and Gertrude was not the auditor. So everything got put into the 12, so our monies were commingled. This year we had to go and we pulled every single claim that we had spent out of the money, and the state did an audit, the state board did, and this is the letter that we received. Basically, the things that are listed are things that the State Board of Account was dinging on. But there are things that are not listed. They are aware that when we cannot use the wireless money, we are using the city's money. However, we have to come up with a different solution to do that because, again, they have to be in separate funds. They were in separate funds. They told us to put them in one, and now they have to be in separate funds. So we got the letter, which we have to reimburse the 911 money, $5,934. That's it. Some of the things such as like office supplies are considered consumable items. It's a big long thing. But you can see the emails that I had sent back and forth to the State Board of Accounts. That's who they directed me to, the state did. And basically, he gives me the IC code that says it, so I printed that off for you as well. The remedy is basically the next city contribution is to show them that we reimburse the money, and then you and I and probably Nancy will have to sit down and.
So do we need to have two separate funds
Yes.
set up again?
Yes.
That's no problem.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a quick fix. I'm not the only county that got this. This was out of the 92 counties, probably 80, 85 of us got it. I mean, the wording of it makes us look terrible. But indeed, they were like, don't worry about that, So it's in the lumps, and the whole lump of things is basically, like you said, Gertrude, we have to put it back into two funds.
I had a little bit of experience. I can tell you that she's audited by two different entities.
Yes.
And simply because they're both state entities doesn't mean their approaches are the same and their requirements are the same. So I don't see this as anything other than a clerical error at the worst, okay? And that's basically all it means, because I know for some grants that State Board of Accounts has an entirely different approach as to what's allowable and what isn't, as opposed to the grantor from the federal or state government. So
Right.
I personally don't see this problem.
And it's going to be remedied. We'll sit down and put it in two different funds. I don't think the city contributes again for probably until toward the end of the year. But yeah, so then that way we can at least get, 2016 squared away as well. But yeah, I wasn't the only one that got them though, and I'm like, thanks. It makes us look like we misappropriated money and we didn't.
If you could set up a time to meet with Nancy, because
Okay.
now during the budget worksheet turn-ins,
Okay.
this is the best time to get it ready for the budget.
Okay, I'll stop by there then on my way out
Perfect.
and see if we can get together tomorrow or
Great.
something.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thanks. Council representative? Okay, Neil?
All right, there are a few items that came in for the county commissioners. The first one is from MetroNet. It was just a notice that due to increased costs being imposed on MetroNet from the TV networks, they are now going to raise the subscription fee for all of their local users by $3.50 beginning this month. And this is going to be a monthly, what they call local broadcast fee. That letter was presented to the commissioners in their box. Another one, I see Michelle Dudley has left, but this one came from the Shrine of Memories Mausoleum on 1266 East State Road 44. And they simply are expressing their gratitude to the Fayette County Commissioners for the community correction employees. It further states that they've been shown respect and kindness, whether it be by phone or while working on our property. The CSR officers always stop by our little house and ask what they can do for us. We usually have a list for them. We give them keys to the mausoleum storage room that has our supplies for them to use, and they always keep it in order for us. They also want to express to the people who do community service that they are very respectful and eager, and they attribute this to the CSR officers that are there under their supervision. This letter was presented by President Lawrence Smith, and just wanted to make this a part of the public record.
Thank you.
The final letter is from the United States Department of Agriculture. This is a letter that's sent out annually to any of the, whether it's the state of Indiana or any of the county organizations that own a county farm. Fayette County does. We do have a very active working farm that's being farmed each year, and this is simply an update to say that in 2014, the crop that was planted, the base acres and the yield that was provided by this, so that the county can understand while this land is being rented out, how it's being used. So that's also a matter of record for the Fayette County farm. And that's the last of the mail.
Okay. Thank you. Old business? I see no old business to be presented. New business? Dan, did you want to speak? Did you want to speak? Okay, all right. Under new business, Public Library Community Youth Day, Melissa Scott.
I didn't see her today.
Okay. There's a rental agreement with Hassler Textile Services.
Stan's not here.
He can wait. Do you have that agreement with Hassler's?
I do.
This was brought in one day last week, and they wanted one of the ladies up front to sign it. It's a standard rental service agreement. And was the gentleman supposed to be here this morning? to
Yes,
talk to
Stan
us?
said he would be here.
Okay, well. Do you want to wait until the next meeting for him to come in and explain this? I think that's appropriate. I don't think there's a problem with it, it's just so that we're fully informed. Is that okay?
Has Chris had a chance to review?
No, I don't think so.
What happened is Hassler is the current contract, the company that we use for the floor mats that you see throughout the courthouse, and they come in on a regular basis per their agreement with the Fayette County Courthouse to provide that service. Their agreement expired, and they wanted to have a copy of this contract renewed and signed by one of my staff. But again, the commissioners, it's under their jurisdiction to approve any contracts, so I asked if he would be willing to come at the next meeting, which would be today, to present this and give any updates. And I unfortunately don't see that he arrived today, but I'll contact him and put him on the agenda for the, I think it's July 21st meeting.
Okay.
One other item, if I may, and I see this gentleman is here from the community as well. There was supposed to be an 11 a.m. public hearing on the ATV ordinance. The notice didn't get out in time for the 48 hours to put this in the newspaper for public notice, so we do need to reschedule this ATV ordinance hearing before any votes taken by the commissioners. Please?
Not having it.
Not today.
Do you want to do it at our next meeting, or do you want to have a special meeting?
I talked to Richard this morning, and he said there wouldn't be any reason to have a special meeting. We could go ahead and have it at a regular meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
schedule it for
July 21st.
11 a.m. on the 21st.
We'll get it in the paper this time.
Okay, thank you. It's not a problem. Sheriff, did you have something? I'm sorry, I didn't see it on the agenda. Go ahead. Are you here to ask for more money?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
Old money.
I'll take that.
I think that'll be nice to him in here.
Again?
I have a few things, a couple of things I just want to make you guys aware of. The first thing is the Stanley contract. Apparently there was some miscommunication between my office and the auditor's office about getting that paid. That's already been taken care of as far as the upgrade was already done, but we need to get them paid. We are not having the security issues anymore, but just to bringing this back. I think you guys approved this in February, but apparently some miscommunication.
Well, the commissioners can approve things, but if there isn't money appropriated in the budget, then council has to do that part of providing money in your
Right.
appropriations.
Right.
And that
right.
didn't happen.
Okay, okay.
No comment about it, council.
Okay. It's something you guys have already approved, the money from the council's apparently the issue, so I'll take care of that tonight.
So are you going to council tonight?
Yeah, I have some other things for them as well.
Sheriff?
Yes.
Before I forget, will you come to our next meeting and give me your food budget
Well,
projection?
I want to talk about that
Okay,
here in
go
just a
ahead.
minute, but I'll bring you the exact figures. And I'll just go ahead and do that since you brought it up. At the end of May, I asked Judy Dickey, who runs your kitchen, to give us how much she'd spent so far out of the budget. She spent $110,000 at the end of May, which the budget is $220,000. So we have 151 prisoners in jail today. Our average this year so far has been about 142. So we are extremely over. 114 is what we're supposed to hold. So, and we figured up a cost of meal. We feed them, they eat very good. The meals are pretty good. I eat in there quite often, but it only costs us about $3.25 a day. Don't smile, I see that. Smile. Eat in there often. Let me rephrase that. But
I did too.
yeah. But it's it only costs about $3.25 a day to feed the inmates, but there are so many of them that we are running through the food budget.
That's $3.25 per meal, right?
No, total.
Total.
Yeah. So
If I may, I talked to Judy, and for those who don't know, the menu for the jail has to be approved by either a physician or a registered dietitian. When Judy took her menu to the registered dietitian at the hospital to be approved, she said they weren't getting enough milk. So they had to be served milk twice a day instead of once a day because of the food requirements. And milk is expensive. So
also for breakfast, they have to have milk, a juice, and coffee.
And
for
coffee.
breakfast. All three for every inmate have to
Me
have
too.
all three.
Okay, so that explains some of the reasons why these budgets are skewed a little bit,
Yeah.
the excessive population and the additional requirements.
Yeah. So it's something we'll address with the council as well, but just wanted to touch base. And that's, I mean, with the population the way it is, it's just, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Like I said, we're at 151 a day. So anytime we even approach 150, I don't like it at all. It's bad when you're getting used to 140, but second thing was apparently some of the utilities were being paid from the courthouse utilities instead of the jail utilities line item. So I don't know what you guys have to do with that, if you have to.
Well, just to give an update, if I may.
Sure, go
Sheriff.
ahead.
In speaking with Beth King And after reviewing the edit budget with the commissioners, we realized that the jail utilities were being actually paid for out of the courthouse utility appropriation. And that shouldn't have happened because the jail does have their separate line item appropriation to pay for their utilities. So what my staff is doing out of the accounts payable is we're doing a simple transfer. Beth has pulled together, to the best of her knowledge, the invoices on all the utility expenses on the jail side. And we're going to then transfer that amount that was spent on the jail from the courthouse utilities to the jail utilities line item. And so that should be reflected here shortly in the actual budget on the LAO system.
None of these require our approval, do they?
No, that's all going before the commissioners, for the council tonight.
Just for information.
Uh,
I'm sorry,
the-
Sheriff. Go ahead.
No problem, no problem at all. Third thing is just something I'm going to be taking to council tonight, and just want to make you guys aware, we had to purchase 125 new mats. Obviously, with our population the way it is, everything is taking a beating and getting more out. The mats were needing replaced. We're having several complaints from the inmates and as well as family on the outside about the mats having holes in them and other issues. So to try to take care of that, we purchased 125 new mats for a cost of $12,112.50. Original quote that we got was around 15. We shopped around and found a little better deal. So it's kind of a had-to thing. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that. The next thing is also something that'll be coming out of the misdemeanor fund. We replaced every inmate was given a plastic tote to keep their property in their cell. Well, they began to use those to make prison wine or hooch or whatever you want to call it with those. So yeah, so we were having some issues. One of the jailers had suggested going to these mesh totes, so that way they cannot. There's obviously several holes in them. It was going to be much harder for them to do that. We purchased those. I believe Michelle has those as well. So it's worked out thus far. We haven't had any hooch. No drunk inmates is a good thing. So obviously it makes it much harder to handle and presents other issues. So I'll be taking those to council tonight. All four of those actually. The last thing, well, not the last thing, but the last paper I have here is the Operation Pullover Grant. I had expressed to Diane Wright that we were interested in getting back into that. I had ran that program under Sheriff Jackson in the past, and I believe we've been out for about 6 or 7 years. I would like to get back into it. I have some younger officers that are expressing a desire to help facilitate that program. It is a good learning tool. It was really the first responsibility that I was given at the department. So, and I think it's a good management tool for them to learn. You have a budget to take care of. You have to deal with all the other guys, make sure everybody's getting their hours in. So I have a few guys that are interested, and there'll be training on that next week. But this grant will require your approval for us to move forward. There's no match money. It is just a straight 100% grant from ICJI. So, and Operation Pull-Up, there'll be 4 blitzes. It's seatbelt tickets. I believe is there a DUI patrol in that as well?
There's a new thing, Joey, that's called a year-long blitz.
Okay.
You can pick which areas you want to focus on at a special time.
Okay. So she called me about 15 minutes before I walked over here. So I've been trying to peruse through it before I came up. But it's been a program we've had at the Sheriff's Department in the past, and I would like to bring it back if we can with your approval.
A motion to approve?
There's a motion to approve. Anytime we can get grant money and not have to spend tax dollars, I'm all for it.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the Operation Pullover Grant. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 3 ayes.
Okay. And I have 2 more things at the end, real quick. Just to follow up on what Michelle said about her TANF grant, the one program we are going to have at the jail for sure is the Inside Out DAD program, and those 2 gentlemen that are going to help run that program at our jail, I am ecstatic that they will be coming in and doing that. I've forged a good relationship with both men. They both have been at the jail in the past, and I believe they turning their life around like they have. They present to those men and women over there hope, and something that I don't think our officers or myself, I've never lived that life, so I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm so proud of both those guys. I've known them for a long time and consider them both friends. We talk quite often. Danny actually came over yesterday and met with the young man that wanted to talk with him, and Danny was just in tears after he left to what he did for the guy. So good things are happening over there. So we know if we don't rehabilitate these people, offer them help, they're gonna keep coming back. So good things are afloat at the Sheriff's Department. Last thing, our new deputy, Kyle Miller, graduates the academy. Hopefully Friday, everything's going good. He got 100% on his criminal law test, to my knowledge, and to anybody that's actually telling the truth. I think he's the only one from our department that's ever done it. I got a 94, so he did better than me. But Kyle's probably going to graduate with honors. Very proud of him. And this last week, hopefully, that's why I crossed my fingers. We got 1 week to go, so he'll graduate Friday and be on the road Sunday night. So we'll be ready to go. So, and Leonard Baker will be going into the drug division starting next week as well. So a lot going on. So, any questions about anything? Or?
Doing great things.
I think you're doing great things, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
I want to clarify one thing that
Yes, ma'am.
you kept referring to buying mats,
Yes.
$14,000, and I see that we're talking about mattresses.
Yeah,
And for
they're.
the general public, a mat to me is something that goes in front of the doorway.
Yeah, okay, yes,
And that's
good.
kind of
I'm glad you clarified that.
And
Yeah,
I
these
think-
are probably 6 foot long by 2 foot, 3 foot blue mats. They're probably exact
Mattresses.
dimensions. Yeah, they're mattresses. Not anything, they're okay, I mean,
Yeah.
but they're passable. But with the population that we have, some are on bunks and some are on the floor. So, because we're wherever we can find a spot for them. So yeah, but there's no complaints. We had some issues with them trying to tear their old ones up so they could get the new ones because they were much more comfortable. So we quickly corrected that, and they kept their old one if they did that. So, and they paid for them. They will be paying us for them. So, but yeah, so they're nice and comfy for now.
Doing a good job. We're proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a good morning.
Thanks, sir. Have we missed anybody? Patron concerns? Anyone here from the public wish to speak? If not, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of payroll and claims.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second to approve the payroll and claims. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Anything else come before the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Is there a question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. We are adjourned.